name is Marshall Stewart. I'm an expert off-road racer here with Dirt Bike Test, testing out the off-road 250s. For me, my third bike, third best today is going to be the Honda. The Honda, I got to be honest, it's a Honda. I got on it and you're automatically comfortable as you sit on it, as you cruise. Reliable, all reliable. The suspension was pretty decent. It did start skipping out on me as I got faster on the bike and more comfortable. We really had to turn down the rebound on the forks for me. Every time I would enter a corner, thing would just be wanting to skip out. But as we turned the rebound down, it was able to be more control. The power was pretty decent, but I had a hard time using the power and the clutch because the cable. The cable just kind of seems old. The comfort I have in a hydraulic clutch system and the feel to what I feel with the power is everything. And that completely lacked. I wasn't comfortable on it at high speeds. The tank was pretty big and bulky, the stock tank. As I sat on it and kind of cruised or trail rode, I was comfortable. It wasn't an issue. But as I was able to push hard and want to sprint and be at a race pace, I got uncomfortable because my legs were spread out just a little bit too much. Just didn't like it and wasn't able to have the control on my legs due to overcompensation of them being a little bit wider apart. The bars were comfortable. Those Renthal bars are pretty solid. They give a good bend or feel for my riding style, and I was comfortable with them. Another one for me on the Honda is going to be the brakes. Again, we're lacking the Brembo system, or we're lacking a steel braided brake line. That was an issue. Again, as I started riding, getting 4, 5, 6 laps into it. They started fading a little bit, and that's just a huge feel for me. And so that's one thing I would consider on a Honda. The transmission on the Honda on the bottom end was pretty decent. Didn't really have any issues with it. I think with the stock gearing, I ran out of gear a little bit sooner. Where the Yamaha, you're able to twist the throttle and it just goes. You're able to wring it out pretty good. There was a couple jumps here. On the Honda, I would have to shift into fourth on the lip just to be able to clear it, just to give me that extra little speed. Where on the GasGas and the Yami, I was able to hold it wide and get the jump. It felt pretty reliable, really smooth through clicking gears, both up and down the gears. Definitely good bike. I would 100% want to test it out in more of like a desert scene. I feel as if it would be pretty good there, especially with some different gearing. But overall, it was a good bike.
What's up, guys? Trevor Hunter here with Dirt Bike Test. I'm a pro-level off-road desert Grand Prix racer, and today we are comparing all the 250F off-road race bikes. Second for me, this is a really tough call, and I could flip-flop either way. If anything, I have a 2A and a 2B. It's not really a second and third, but I'll go with the Honda just because it's a better overall all-around off-road bike, and stock out of the box, it's a little more capable. Just like it comes with handguards, it comes with a big tank, which the Kawasaki doesn't. So Kawasaki and Honda are like 2A and 2B for me. And what kind of gives the Honda maybe a slight edge is just it comes more equipped and race ready. So the bigger tank, the handguards, on the fly mapping, although it's not the best on the fly, you still can change it on the fly and switch between maps and stuff like that. Honda, the motor is actually really good. In the past, I haven't been a huge fan of it, but this newest revision, and it being the off-road bike, there's a lot more torque and bottom end there than there has been in the past. And it's almost, I'd say it's probably the second best motor, all-around motor in the class. Just bottom end, the torque, and through the mid to the top, it's really solid. It's a lot of power, not quite as much as the Yamaha, but still quite a bit. Suspension and handling, the handle is really good. It's very kind of light and nimble. The tank on it isn't the best. I think that kind of hurts this bike, is how big and wide the tank is, and it kind of affects like the side to side, and how agile it is. But when you do need to make like quick turns and pivots and stuff like that, it turns really well. It's still fairly stable. Not the most stable bike out of all of them, but it's still very, very stable. It has a good blend with the stability and the cornering performance. Suspension is good. It's not Yamaha great, but it's very good stock. Feels like a little on the stiffer side at times. A little, like the whole chassis is a little more rigid, but overall it handles really well. Very good motor, and it's a blast to ride.
Hi, my name's Jessica Daniel. I'm a Women's A off-road racer here with Dirt Bike Test today. Honda would be my third choice as far as comfortability and everything about the bike that was noticeable. I will be honest, I didn't notice too many things on the bike that stood out that caught my attention, that I had a say about, which is a good and a bad thing. There definitely wasn't anything negative about it that wouldn't change my mind from buying one. It's a skinny bike, it's a lightweight bike, it handles pretty decently well on the motocross track, and especially through the technicality. Definitely allows you to kind of put the bike where you want it. The power band was consistent, it was good. It wasn't as powerful as the Yamaha, I feel, but it definitely did not lack any power if I was looking for it. And with the two maps, it definitely creates adjustability for the kind of style of riding you're doing. Because I did the aggressive map, and it turned out to be a little more favorable map-wise power-wise on the main track, the motocross track, with the regular map. It just seemed a bit smoother, a little bit more controllable for me. Braking system wasn't terrible at all. It was definitely did what it needed to do in that sense. It wasn't anything that I had any thoughts on that created any complications in corners or anything like that. So something about the chassis of the bike, this is one of the frames where it does feel, you feel a little bit smaller on that frame. And so for a smaller rider like myself, going through any high speed or any quick twitch adjustability that you have to make on the bike, it feels like it's a little bit, it'll get away from you a little bit more compared to the Yamaha. It just seems like if something goes wrong, it's a little bit bigger to steer. So cable clutch on this bike was definitely the strongest to manage out of all the 250s, but it was very consistent and very responsive, so I appreciate that aspect out of that.
Hey everyone, my name is Mattoon from Dirt Bike Test, and today we were out here doing a shootout with all the 250F competition off-road bikes. Now in second place, I actually put the Honda 250RX. Now this bike, it was actually kind of a coin flip for me between this and the Kawasaki. What put it over the edge though, for me was, if I'm in a desert race, if I was racing this bike, that thing feels really planted in a straight line. It's really nice, but it also still feels somewhat nimble. Now, not very flickable, but still, you can still have a good time with it in a really tight technical situation. The maps that you could have on it were really nice. That's actually what put it above the Kawasaki for me, was how easy it was to switch between the maps. The mellow map was really good for trail riding. That super smooth low end power was amazing. And then when you wanted an aggressive map for a moto track, it was super fun. So overall, like, that's second for me for those reasons. What I would improve on for it is I would like that tank to be a little smaller. I would like it to feel just a little bit more agile. Is a good way for how I would say it was a little more agile is my only complaint with that bike.
What's up guys, my name is Trevor Belknap. I'm here with Dirt Bike Test. I'm a pro level off-road racer, and today we're testing the difference between the multiple brands for 250 off-road dirt bikes. I placed third, the CRF250RX. It was a little too wide for me up front in the gas tank area. I feel they could slim it down a little bit like prior years have. But otherwise from that, it's a very smaller wheelbase, it feels like. So when you're in that tight single track, it turns really well through there and stuff. But when you get onto the moto track and into some faster straightaways, it's a little not as great of a bike because it doesn't handle as well and isn't as stable with that. But that big tank allows that front end to stay a little more planted than the Kawi and other previous bikes, since it has that big tank up front. but overall it was a great bike. It could just use a little bit of slimming and maybe a little extender, but the motor was really good, had a really good bottom for trail riding, and had a really good top end for when you're trying to ride hard. And I think it would be a great trail riding bike.